I'm Carrie Casey, and I'm the co-host of Childcare Conversations with Kate and Carrie. I'm here to help you, help the directors in your program have the best year and heck, the best career they possibly can. So I've been in childcare most of my life. I started when I was about 6 months old and continued until they kicked me out. Do you realize they kick you out when you're 12 years old and they won't let you come anymore? And so I took a couple of years off, 4 to be exact, and then came back into childcare. I love early childhood and after school. It's my favorite place to be. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I decided when I grew up, I was going to have my own school because schools are a magical place where kids who don't get a whole lot of attention at home get to be seen and heard and recognized for the awesome people they are. So it's the only career I ever considered, well, at least for more than 2 days. Early childhood and after school are amazing, enriching programs where you get to make a difference every day in what the world is going to be like in 10 or 20 years. I love this field. I became an expert in early childhood by doing it and by taking every class I could get my hands on. I took classes at 4 different universities because they had things that I didn't know from other places. They had different classes available, so I took them. I'm sure by the time I end my career, I'll probably have taken college classes from 15 universities. But also, I've been there and done that. I opened my first center in my 20s. Before that, I had a registered family home. And eventually, I got to the place where I had 4 centers. In addition to that, I've worked at small nonprofits. I've worked at school districts and other types of childcare programs over the years. I have done so many dumb things over the years, as well as brilliant things. And I'm hoping that I can help you avoid some of the dumb things and get you to those awesome things quicker and cheaper than you would get there on your own. When you come see me speak, or when I come to your program to talk to you, you may be in a feeling of overwhelm of, oh my gosh, there are so many things that you have to do, so many pressures coming from all different directions. Every director feels that. There are so many tasks that have to be done, so many people that you're responsible for and responsible to. I hope that when you come through one of my workshops, you will get to that sense of, I got this, because we will be narrowing your focus to the things that only you can do, your zone of genius. What are you able to bring into your school that nobody else can? And we will help you get rid of the other things, delegate, automate, take them off your plate completely. We want you to focus. At this session, we are going to work together, you and I, to figure out what is the best parts of your job and how can you do those even better, and how can we get some of the other stuff off your plate? How can we make you have the best workforce in the world for your program? How can we get exactly the right clients into your school? How can we take your to-do list from 3 miles long to 10 items for the day? When you go to a workshop, you're usually hoping to get maybe 1 or 2 little nuggets of information, because we've all been to these trainings before. You've been to a million of them. I've been to a million of them. I've got the filing cabinet to prove it. I'm sure you do too. What is going to be a little different from my trainings is we're going to have a good time as we're going through this, and you're not going to get 1 or maybe 2 things. You're going to get 10 in the average one of our trainings. But even if you only got 1, it's not a little thing. It's not a tiny little pebble that's going to change things a little bit. It'll be a big shift in your approach to running your program. And hopefully we will give you back the spark and the joy, because I could sit up here and talk to you and drone on with facts and figures from all kinds of research projects, but those are just there to inform our practice. We need to know the information, but then we need to know how to actually apply it in the real life, not in theoretical or in a lab school. Anything I teach you, anything we talk about will be road tested in real schools, not theoretical. I first did my first public speaking in early childhood back in the 1900s. And boy, was I hooked. The ability to not just teach my own staff at my little schools, but to be able to reach 5, 10, 15, 1,000 schools at one time. I could change so many children's lives for the better by coming and presenting in different ways. That way, all of the hard knocks that I went through to learn this stuff could help hundreds or thousands of kids each time I come and speak. I've written books, I've got a podcast, I've got lots of other ways to also reach people, but my favorite really is coming and speaking in public, speaking and having conversations with the people working in the schools so that they can ask their burning questions and I can actually help improve their lives through dialogue and conversation in a workshop or a keynote. We can have some give and take, and I can actually help you hands-on make a difference in your program. I want to be able to help the director who loves helping kids and who absolutely empathizes with the parents, but they're getting beaten down by the daily pressures and demands of the job, who are feeling like they may have to quit and go into another line of work because the stress of this job is spilling over into their personal life and they're not being able to have energy at the end of the day for their family and their friends because everything is going into the school and they're not feeling appreciation back. For that director, for that owner, I want to give them a hand out, a hand up, and help them get back to that place of joy and fulfillment and be able to grow and develop in their program. There is nothing better than being able to help someone who's at the verge of stepping away from the industry completely and just turning around and walking out the door to feel like they can do this. And if they need to make a change, they can make a change inside the industry. And maybe instead of walking out the door, they decide, you know what? The problem is I'm not doing something new. I'm not invigorated. And so maybe we're going to go ahead and start a second center. I don't know. Maybe it's that we're going to find a way to change the model of your program, bring on other members of the admin team. That person who is on the verge of burnout and leaving the program, that's who I'm here to serve because that person needs my help. So what are some things that people typically talk about at conferences that I disagree with? Because I got a long list of those. To make your center more profitable, you need to have more staff, not fewer. Because if you can bring your ratios down, you can bring your rates up, and you can attract the perfect parents into your program. I hear this constant race for the bottom. I need to be charging less because the parents are so stressed financially. That's not your monkey. The fact that they are having a hard time financially is not your concern. Your concern is offering the best quality care you can. And so sometimes that means increasing your staffing and increasing your rates. And that ends up increasing your bottom line while decreasing the stress, because you've gotten rid of all these parents who are spending their money on getting their nails done instead of on buying quality childcare for their kids. You'll be attracting the right clients into your center. If you're looking to hire someone to help you take your center to the next level, it may be me, it may not be me, but whoever you hire to help you get to the next level, make sure they've actually done it. Make sure that they understand the industry, because there are lots of great coaches out there, but most of them don't understand our industry. You need somebody who has changed a diaper, who has reworked a schedule because somebody's out sick. You need somebody who has taken a program from 0 to 60. You need someone who has the experience of having done that. If the only thing you need help with is staff morale, fine. You can find 100 different coaches or mentors who can help you with staff morale. But if you need help with your whole center, make sure you're finding a coach who's actually run a childcare center and a company full of people who understand the industry. When you're looking to fill out your program with speakers at your conference, I really hope that you are trying to balance some of the people who have lots of research and are working at the universities with the people who are going to give an engaging workshop, and with people who have been in the industry. We need all three kinds, but if everybody at your conference is somebody who has not stepped foot in a regular childcare center for the past 10 years, and they haven't seen what it's like in today's world, and everything is based on what happens at the lab school at the local university, you're not serving the clientele of your conference. You've got to have people who actually know what it's like day in and day out at corporate programs and at mom and pop programs. Most of us do not have the resources of a university or a school district. Most of us have to make do with the resources that we can get inside our corporation or our mom and pop programs. To be a successful director, you need to have people skills, you need to have boundary skills, and you need to have time management skills. All of those come into our monkey management framework, but a good director knows how to read the situation, knows how to communicate with the parents, with the teachers, and with the kiddos, not to mention the regulators. Those people skills are going to be first and foremost. And then they have to be able to set boundaries. When somebody comes into the office and they're like, hey, I got to talk to you, you've got to be comfortable saying, great, I have 5 minutes. Let me set a timer. Let's talk for 5 minutes. You've got to be able to set those boundaries. Whether the boundaries are, I'm not going to take phone calls after 7 p.m., whether the boundaries are, I'm going to have a 5-minute conversation, whether the boundaries are, you are going to have to follow the standard operating procedures that have been set up so that we're fair for everybody. All of that is fairness. All of that is boundaries. And then, of course, managing all of those monkeys in our time management, making sure that we have enough time to do the work that only we can do. You need to be proactive, not reactive. A good director makes a plan and moves forward with that plan instead of reacting to every crazy thing that comes up every day, because it's a building full of kids and there's going to be crazy things every day. We've got to see it, acknowledge it, and then move forward with our plan for the day. We don't need to react to every time a kid put something into their ears that they shouldn't do. We have trained our staff to handle that. They know how to write the boo-boo reports. They know how to communicate with the parents. You, as the director, don't need to be reacting to that crazy thing. You need to train your staff so that they can handle the crazy things that happen in the classroom, and you get a report and you go give that teacher a hug because they had a rough day. But that's what makes a good director. a quality director that's going to lead to a quality program. Now, I didn't mention anything about understanding children. I feel like that kind of goes without saying. Of course, you need to know about child development and how children learn and develop. Directors who get overwhelmed, directors who fail the kids or their schools are those who say yes to everybody about everything. They are the ones who are working 12 and 14-hour days for months and months and months. That's not going to serve anybody long term. We've got to get out of those systems and into those more successful systems. I am here to help you with this because I've been there, I've done that. I've done the research on how we can get past this. Some of it's been book research and some of it's been real life testing to see what works and what doesn't work. Supporting directors is, I think, the most important thing I could do because the directors support the kids and the children of today are, of course, the adults of tomorrow. But there are so many kids in our programs who do not have good, nurturing, stable home lives. I was one of those kids. The reason that childcare is so important to me is because I am a whole functioning adult human because of the early childhood programs that I was in. In early childhood, there are people who see those kids for who they are, who notice what they're good at, who challenge them to try new things, and who tell them, you're brave enough to do this. So as a kid, I got that support. And then as a director, I gave that support to my teachers, and I told them they were brave enough to try the good thing, to try the hard thing, and that I noticed what they were good at. And now I get to support directors and do that same kind of pouring into directors as was poured into me when I was a kid who absolutely, desperately needed somebody to see me and to give me some support and encouragement. So I'm just paying it forward.